Hey guys, how are you? How's it going? Let's see. Let me move my screen over so I can actually see. Okay. This is how I cheat. I look one way, but I can see the chat over here instead of over here. Hey, hello. How is everyone doing? Happy Monday, guys. Let's see how is it. Let me move this microphone. It's gonna make a noise probably. Okay. Um, y'all, happy Monday. How's it going? I really haven't been here in like 2 weeks now almost, right? Um, 30 likes. Wow. 103 in the chat. Y'all. I know I got some people in the bushes because y'all, there's some people who are just so fascinated with what I'm doing and just have to show up. Um, but you don't really have to. It's okay. But if you're here, I'm gonna need for you to do something. Yes, yes. Okay, thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. I think my niece is here. Really quick. Hold on. Just a second. The doorbell just rang. Babe, do you need me to get the door? Okay. Um, I don't know if she's gonna come back here or not. Um, she's on my husband's side. But my niece nonetheless. Um, she's amazing. She just came by to see me. Let's see. God, I'm gonna have to say hello to everyone. I need to just do a blanket like hello everyone. Um, Give me 1 second though. Babe, Jasmine. Hey everyone. This is Jasmine. Jasmine, come on this side. Which okay, there we go. Say hi to Jasmine. Look at all of Jasmine's hair. Let them see. Look how gorgeous.
Oh, I'm a
all of
Virgo too.
Look at all of so this is Jasmine. Jasmine, how old are you now? 23? 23. She's a sweetheart. And we love her. She's on my husband's side. Um Guys, I just got my alert. My HelloFresh order has been delivered. So if you guys are interested in HelloFresh, I'm gonna be doing some stuff on my other channel with that. Um, isn't she just gorgeous? And her hair is amazing. You guys know. Look, do you have a YouTube channel? Okay, but she's on Instagram. I don't know. I'm probably not going to share it with you guys because some people out there are weird. But any of you guys who are in, yeah, but she's not the one to really mess with because if you think my mouth is bad, let me tell you, my husband's family, it's not even a joke. I'm nothing compared to these people. They will. Mm-mm. But yeah, we're gonna do some HelloFresh, guys. But I want Jasmine to come say hi to you guys. Hi, Audrey. Hey, Amber. Hi, Lanice, Darla. Hey, Sofa Time. How are you? Hi, Brittany. Hey, Cheryl. Yeah, there's a lot of Virgos on here, and they know I'm a Virgo too. So okay. But I'll talk to you later. Okay. All right. I know. School. She's school. Okay, I'll see you later. Okay. All right. She's a sweetheart. Okay. Let's get back to business. Hello, everyone. Oh my God, there's so many people here. Um, Vitamin DC, hello, how are you? Brittany M, Lakeisha Douglas, Cheryl Waz, Gwen. I don't know if you're here or not, but hello, dear. Beaker Patrick, what's good, lady? Nene Wade, how are you? Verena Rich, hello. Shay K. I think Black Dolly was notification gang gang. Black Dolly, how are you? Annie, are you okay? C Talk, hello. Um, Buttons all day. Hey, Tina. Media hobbyist. Black Dolly was notification gang gang. Annie, are you okay? Sea Talk, Pink Bubblegum, Lakeisha Douglas, media hobbyist. Oop, did I just lose my screen? Uh, I just lost my screen, guys. Hold on. All you have to do is cross check the address. Interesting. Okay, I just got some interesting information. Okay, this is what I needed to know. Who the person who sent me this, you know who you are. Um I just got this in Instagram. This is interesting because what I was concerned about was when I looked, okay, I guess, okay, I'm gonna save this, but I just got some interesting information. I don't know who else has this. I really hadn't been watching a lot of the programming on this, but I guess this is like the hottest news on YouTube streets right now. Um, Other than I will make a disclosure too. Um, what is going on with my live? I don't know if there's people out here, honestly, the hate is real. I'm gonna just say this. If you are out here and you're flagging this live, what I'm gonna say to you is that you're a piece of shit. Okay. I'm just gonna since it's limited monetization anyway. Um, Let me tell you, if you are out here and you are flagging, I haven't even gotten started yet. Um, See, people just want to get some attention. I've said this for so long, guys. At the end of the day, there are people out here who cannot show up with face. And they cannot show up with their faces. And they have no swag. They have no conversation. They have limited intelligence. And what they do is they get mad because people who are able to articulate themselves can get up here, freestyle, or get up early and prepare pages of notebook notes because you actually have something to freaking talk about. So good people come up on here who are prepared, and then you got assholes who want to hit the flag button, and then now y'all want me to sit up here and work for free because you guys might be at a job that you hate, and you may be whatever, just I'm just a limited intelligence, whatever the case might be. There's a couple of people who were fans, and believe me, you know what, before I extricated you from my community, and I mean all but good, I'm gonna just say this. I took a lot of screenshots of all of the accolades and damn near love notes you guys sent me of, oh my God, I just love your channel. Oh my God, this. Oh my God, that. You're so funny, this. You're so funny, that. So when you get started, when and if you decide to get started running off at your mouths about how much you don't like me and how wrong I am for this and how wrong I am for that, I swear on a stack of Bibles, I will do a damn flip flop ass, um, two-faced ass, exposing exposing ass video if I have to. So this is what I'm going to say. You don't want to be here anymore. Good. You are on to bigger, better, different things. Good. Um you don't have to be here. We know. You can't come up in here and chat. Yes. That was done on purpose. Um be a good girl and go. Don't start none, won't be none. But you want to come through here and flag my videos? So for no good damn reason, my video is now on yellow that I just got started, you fucking asshole. Now I'm pissed. Cause you know what I mean? Like I'm tempted to like leave it, but I'm not gonna do that to you guys. I got 189 people, of which they probably could not even fathom getting over uh 19 or 20. And thank God for 19 or 20 people that show up because I was there once upon a time, but I did the work, and I created a audience to where people are going to show up and people are going to watch my videos. Um, And at the end of the day, yeah, don't be jealous because you just got familiar with me a couple of weeks ago. This has been going on for a minute. I've been doing this for over 2 years. So don't play with me. Um, all you losers out there who want to come for me, y'all been coming for me for about like the past month. That's why I said, you know what, let me stretch out and let me live my life for a couple of weeks, which I did, because I had a nasty slore come for me by way of a damn insignificant ass uh, copyright strike. Um, so I had to deal with that. And time is ticking. We're still waiting for you to submit your lawsuit. So once you get that lawsuit, uh, then I guess my video will be cleared. But yeah, I divulged that information to my thank you, Miss Cookie. Thank you. Um, I divulged that information to my members yesterday that a slore named Puddlepuss um copyright striked one of my videos because I showed one of her absolutely atrocious pictures because I needed people to know who she was. She's like a nobody from nowhere who emailed me about 6 months ago to ask me to help her with her channel. And I was gracious enough to respond and tell her, girl, keep doing what you're doing. Looks like you're doing just fine. And whatever. You know how it is. First they love you, then they hate you, and then they stab you in the back. Um, so that slore can kick rocks because girl, I'm just waiting for my notification from YouTube. And anyway, that's what's been going on for the past 2 weeks, guys. So Miss Cookie, thank you for the super chat. It is much appreciated because these hoes out here think that I'm going to succumb to the nonsense and foolishness, but what they don't understand is I came to YouTube to what? To not just play games. I mean, I enjoy putting together this content. And at the end of the day, they say, well, you don't have content, bitch. I got a whole other monetized channel where I do have content that you actually go over there and watch too. Okay. It doesn't do as well as this channel, but if you guys like uh vlogs and cooking and all the other stuff that we talk about, yeah, come through because I do produce very good content over there, and that channel does need to be supported more. But I'm certainly I take the views where I can get them, and I certainly appreciate people who support what I'm doing. Vitamin DC, thank you so much. That is awesome. See how the devil tries to come through, but God don't like ugly. And you who's sitting up here flagging my video, yeah, people have already come through with the come through. So thank you very much. And all of my members and all of you who are just sitting here watching and supporting by way of just viewing this content. I certainly appreciate it. So look, we know that there has been fuckery on level 25 going on here on the YouTube streets. And yeah, people that are being exposed, Lady B. Ashley, you got it on the head. Nobody wants to be exposed. Thank you, Beaker Patrick. Thank you, thank you, thank you. People don't like being exposed for the liars that they are and the scammers eventually. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, this is the deal. People are going to and sometimes thank you, Bren. Sometimes the lies just, shout out for themselves. They really do. And so initially what I wanted to talk about, like, are we really surprised? And, I know that for some people, it seems like I'm harsh and I'm mean and I'm not nice and all of those things. But at the end of the day, um, is it nice for people to fool people? Is it nice for people to lie to people? Should we let people, without saying, hey, you know what? Probably being a thought isn't the best thing. Like Olivia, I saw people telling Olivia yesterday while she was live, be careful for STDs, be careful out here dating. There are people who are actually worried about her. and she is, she's passing that puss all around, okay? And that's just it. She's passing it around like it's a cheese platter at a frat party, okay? And she is doing the most, and it's triggering people. People are like, "My God, what is really going on?" And people don't want to believe that somebody who will actually sit and tell you how much they pass their puss around is actually passing out puss, right? I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. Coco, what's going on, girl? These people are just spreading it like a damn bowl of cream cheese at the bagel store. Okay, these girls, it's like a buffet. It's a freaking buffet. It's a buffet of passing out all your box and eating up and gobbling up, just like the guy said, just like Phoenix, my supposed nephew. Um, yeah, she will gobble the balls and everything. And I mean, I hate to be graphic about it. My husband's over there saying, it's a mess. It's a mess, right? But why are we shocked? Just because she says it and we think it, but when it comes in our faces, I mean, not literally. That was no pun intended. Sorry. Um, excuse me. That imagery was okay. But when it presents us in our faces, we're like, "Oh my God, no, that must have been staged. Oh no, that was scripted." Girl, the only scripted thing is that we have a 30-year-old woman who's extremely horny, who is going to gobble down as much sausage as she possibly can, and you guys are like mystified. Okay? Now, I told you guys about Puddle Puss. You guys, I'm not going to even say anything else about her because at the end of the day, the facts speak for themselves. You cannot go to any kind of licensing or nursing board and tell them because you have a stalker that you want your credentials hidden. That just not fly. That doesn't fly, and that's not what it's gonna happen. That's not what's gonna happen. But if you guys want to believe the bullshit and be mad because your girl is separating the real from the fake, um, okay, I can live with that. But I'm not gonna sit around and propagate lies. Okay. Now, is it my job to tell the truth? Well, someone's got to do it. That's what the news came from. That's why we have news at the evening, because people decided that the government or whatever was in place and people did not know what the real facts were. People wanted to be neutral and stand up and say, "Hey, this is what's going on. This is what I think happened, or this is my opinion on what happened." And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's okay at a certain age or with certain responsibilities that the wrong thing to do is the right thing to do because someone feels like I'm being mean and I'm being nosy and I shouldn't care. If you care about what they are doing and you're a real ass bitch, you would say, "You know what? You probably don't want to be like all the other people who were like, hey, you might not want to be live while this is going on or while that's going on. Or maybe you've got about 25 negative videos that dropped on you today. Maybe doing this, that, and the third is not a good idea." But for whatever reason, there's people out here that are going to co-sign and tell these people that everything that they're doing is okay, and gang up on the people who are actually out here telling the truth. Okay. Um, Now, I did hear about what I think everyone is talking about. Um, which is Jasmine and this PPP loan. I heard about it. And then I was like, okay, I went to a website where you can look names up. And I mean, there's other Jasmine Dukes out here in this world. And that was my main concern, that I saw other Jasmine Dukes. And I was like, well, how do we know that that is the Jasmine Dukes that we all know? And is kind of like a little sis out here who, okay. Can nurses wear long fingernails? Not in hospitals. Um, Most doctors' offices, I would say they need to be of a professional length and even a professional nail color, not ratchet AF. like, I'll take Ratchet AF number 5, please. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. No. But I'm not even going to really deep dive into that cesspool of Puddle Puss, because at the end of the day, it speaks for itself. That woman, um, that person, I don't know what she is. That individual, who looks like she should be driving around in a clown car. That she just graduated from the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus clown school for the dumb and the dimmer. I am not really going to comment on that woman much because, yeah, I don't like her and her energy is just disgusting. And I don't want to have anything to do with that nasty woman. And I don't like her. So I'm going to opt out of talking about her. Also, when you know that someone is like certified crazy, um, why waste my time? Like I don't like to pick on on people like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, girl, just shoo fly, don't bother me, and go on about your business and pick on someone your own size, okay? And I mean your own size, mentally and physically. Bitch, we don't compare on nothing. So, mm-mm. So just keep it moving. So yeah, that woman I'm done with. She's a nut, and I don't want her in my airspace. So she's disgusting. Um, but yeah, Jasmine, I did get that news and I saw it on, several sources, and I was just kind of like, I wasn't sure, but I'm just now getting an email. Someone sent me a note in Instagram as I was just coming live. It's Jemiah. Hello. Brittany Blabber. Hello. I don't like her either. You are right. She's absolutely gross. Yes. Maureen Jackson. Everyone have a great day. I'll watch on the replay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Jay Johnson. Anyone who I have missed, Estrelita, you're just on time, girl. Um, Jacka, I see you. Um, I don't give a fuck. I see you. C Talk, I see you. Is it Kalia B? I see you. Um, Lady B Ashley, Kitten Zombie, I am me, Kendall, Verena. Is it Marshadon Wilborn? I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Amber, how are you? Chanel, if you're in here. Um, Coco Love, D Harold, Shay K. I'm just scrolling through super fast, guys. Pretty Round Brown. What's going on? Exploring life with Tazzy. Capricorn. What's good? Lanice TV. Snapper. Kay Charisse. What's going on, lady? Rose of Sharon. Um, Jessica. How's it going? New Jacka City. One of my favorite movies. Sea Talk. What's good, lady? Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Lady V, what's up? What's up? Yes. So I got this note and I'm reading this cold. Let's see. It's Jasmine on PPP Loan. Chloe Christie was in live and said they fell out because Jazz used her address. Woo! What? 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 Now, Kels, this note has you in it, so can you come to the front of the church? I know you were live, but I was preparing. So I saw when you were talking, Jasmine was picking her nose or something, and I had to drop off and get myself together. Plus, I was talking to my niece, who was getting ready to come over on text, and my husband called, so I fell off of your live. I'm getting a note from someone who stated that it is Jasmine. It's Jasmine on the PPP loan stuff. Because you guys know me, I'm a Virgo, right? So immediately I'm like, so I went and there's a public website where you can plug in a name and it'll tell you if someone got a PPP loan. And I was like, Jasmine Dukes, Houston, Texas. How do we know that that's Jasmine? Jasmine lives in Austin. So immediately I was like, I can't believe what I can't verify. If it said Austin, yeah, there could still be another Jasmine Dukes, but who knows, right? So you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I didn't want to believe it, but I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times we get a bad rap for just pulling stuff out of our asses. and I just said I want to do my due diligence, so I just left it. What's the website? I went to Pro. Hold on, I just did a search. Hold on, I'll get the website, and you guys can have at it. Let's see. PPP. All I did was PPP loan, and then you know how you put in enough, and it's going to come up with a bunch of other stuff. Um, ProPublica, which I believe is a legit website. It's projects.propublica.org. I will put the website in here. And they track many things, okay? Um, and I've heard ProPublica mentioned before, not just in this case. ProPublica, um, just so you know that this is a legit source. Um, they You can definitely do your due diligence on this website, but propublica.org is a information news source. Um, and they basically are, I guess they have some sort of a coronavirus bailout tracking. Journalism in the public interest is what they're saying. And so I believe that they are a legit news source. So, like I said, do your own due diligence to see what you feel comfortable with in terms of what you want to use for a news source. But it's ProPublica, okay? So back to the search criteria. Uh, so tracking PPP as part of the PPP or Paycheck Protection Program, the federal government has provided hundreds of billions of financial support to banks to make low interest loans to companies and nonprofit organizations in response to the economic devastation caused by the coronavirus pandemic. Search more than 6 million loans approved by lender and disclosed to the Small Business Administration. So I'm assuming they have some sort of a real-time feeder from that source. So I'm going to drop it in the chat. Okay. Obviously, this is public information. And do with it what you will. I'm not telling you to spam anybody. I'm not telling you to look anyone up. I'm telling you that this is a information source for that ass. Okay. So this note reads, it's Jasmine on the PPP loan stuff. Supposedly Chrissy was in Kel's live. So Kel's, you tell me if that's true. I don't know. I can't substantiate that or not. Was in Kel's live and said they fell out because Jazz and Chris used her address on the PPP application. Did anybody witness that? I'm going to have to go back to Kel's live. Hush, Chrissy. Huh, Chrissy was there. Was that? Is that true, Kels? Because I don't know. Like I said, I was in the middle of getting dressed. I ain't seen Chrissy. Maybe I missed her. Okay. Um, Hold on. I don't know if you want to go back and look in your chat, but this is what I was sent on Instagram DM. I don't want to put this person's name out there. Um, okay, but I offline. If that person says okay, I'll be happy to share this email with you, and they can give you the timestamp. Or if the person who messaged me, can you timestamp me, please, and let me know where we can find this information because I'm all for the tea, guys, and I'm all for the shits and giggles. But as someone who has been lied upon, my family and truth stretched to the limit by no good trashy ass whores. I don't want to do the same thing. Contrary to what some of you might say, um, I don't do the same thing, okay? I just don't. So I like to be very careful about the things I say, and I know that most of the people in the reaction community, the ones that you good people show up to their lives, um, most of us do, but there's some people who love to just make shit up, and so um Okay, so let me finish reading. So there's an address. And I did see that address to the person who sent this message because I was like, Houston, Okay, so there's a number and there is a street. Since this person no longer lives there and this person does not own this house, I'm going to just say there it the look. If you plug in look, we all know who we're talking about. There's a website where you can validate that information. The information is there. Okay. Um, is a major intersection that leads into Chrissy's. So the person did not put Chrissy's address per se. What they put is 11220 West Road, which is not any of Chrissy's address. But what they're saying is that West Road is a major intersection that leads into the neighborhood where Chrissy resided, where she resided, not resides, is a major intersection street that leads into Christie's subdivision. So I'm assuming her old subdivision because this application goes back to February. Um, I know because this person resides in H Town. I know because I live near there. Google it. Remember when Chrissy first moved here and she was busted in the area because she was in the car going to Walgreens for Easter stuff. Won't ever forget it. Yes. Jasmine and Chris are wrong for doing that. Um, so, and did I don't know if this person verified if that address is a correct address. If there is a 11220 West Road, all you have to do is cross check the address on the application um, with the address that was leaked. So, what I think they're saying is it's not the exact address of Chrissy's address, but it's in the vicinity of Chrissy's address, which I guess would be enough to pause to say that is a weird ass coincidence. Um, and then it would make me want to go back and double check all the things that Chrissy has kind of been cryptically saying in code. Um, that maybe it's some weird shit that's been going on. And she's like, hey, I'm out of it. Um, Go to Kel's live and check and see if that was the real strong mommy Chrissy. I um with my eyes. Okay. Um, Interesting. So I don't know. I would have to go back to Kels's live to click on that person to see if that was well, the real strong mommy Chrissy, if she did show up in Kels's live, Kels, she would have a check mark because she's got a YouTube verified check mark now. So we don't know, but that could have just been someone coming through and dropping the tea. Um, but there's no way, contrary to what some idiots say, there's no way to manipulate these government real time. So maybe the SBA, the Small Business Association, has a search mechanism that is legit on file. And that is a address that seems to be in the vicinity of the SMC prior residents. Let's be clear, prior residents. I mean, gosh, that would be another kind of like, okay, there are coincidences, but there's not that many coincidences. Like everything can't be a coincidence, right? Um, oh, we have a bad rainstorm. Remember, I don't know if earlier you guys heard Toya talking about a tornado. I don't know if that damn tornado's headed this way, but we lost power earlier. Let me see. I'm online, so I don't know. So I don't know. But look, let's say this. That being said, at the end of the day, if she got a PPP loan, let's just say, Jasmine, you are more than welcome to call in. Chris, Hipstifer, I'm just gonna say this. Number one, Jasmine, you're welcome to call in. Come down on the live and girl, get up on these streets and tell us what the hell's going on. Because from what we see, you barely can manage your household. Why are you telling people you have a whole business? Okay, girl, please. This is someone who knows the federal feds are charging for fraudulently applying to PPP. This is someone I know. Okay. Those. Okay, so someone I have another source who's come into my mailbox. I can't show this to you guys, but they are telling me about an acquaintance of theirs who apparently got lost in the sauce and applied for one of these loans, and this is the justice that is being served in their direction. Criminal complaint. The complaint in the case state following is true to the best of our knowledge. Um, June 23rd through August 4th in the county of blank in the district of Southern in a state of, I'm not going to disclose, false statements to the Department or agency of the United States, false statements in a loan or credit application, aggravated identity theft. I'm wondering, source who just sent this to me. Now, these are not charges on Jasmine at all. This is someone who knows someone who's in the middle of dealing with the fuck shit that they thought that they were going to unleash on the good taxpayers of the United States and take our money. Um, no offense. And are making it even more expensive for the people of these United States to do business. Um, so I wonder if this aggravated identity theft is any sort of lie that you put on the application. Okay, false statements in a loan application, but aggravated identity theft. So possibly using someone else's name, bank fraud, so accepting the money, and unauthorized disclosure of a social security number. So this person seems to be maybe involved in a little extra fuck shit. So it sounds like maybe they applied in someone's name. So maybe those aren't things that Jasmine would have to deal with. But nonetheless, maybe bank fraud, maybe false statements on a loan document, especially using a incorrect address knowingly, willingly. What would be weird to me is if they had to provide identification where they would have gotten an ID with that address. So I would think that you would need to have some sort of identification when you're closing a loan, unless there is someone at the bank that's in cahoots. Okay. Um, I'm just saying. Ivy, makeup artist, how are you? Um, let's see. Miss Chin, what's going on? Sofa time. I don't think Jazz is clever enough to get a PPP funds, but Chrissy and Ming are. Wow. This is running deep, guys. Look, we are just talking here. Everything is alleged. We don't know what people have been up to, but we know that on the search website for the Paycheck Protection Program, there is a person by the name of Jasmine Dukes that's residing in Texas using a Houston address. That Houston address, coincidentally, seems to be in the vicinity of the former, with a capital F, address of Strong Mommy Chrissy. Hello, Brown Sugar. How are you? Now, to anyone who says, Fran, you're digging too deep into the mommy's background, get your life. Click that X. That's number. But if you decide to stay, no, the hell I'm not. This is the people. This is the YouTube streets. We are on Front Street right now, and people are sending this information through. Okay. All right. This is Front Street talk. Okay. This is it. I mean, guys. And at the end of the day, putting two and two together, y'all, we are look, at the end of the day, this is the deal. Okay. And it's called journalism, it's called crowdsourcing, it's called social fucking media, it's called what's done in the dark will come out to the light. It's called at the end of the day, this is called public information. This is also called, we've all been through a trauma here in the last year, and the government saw fit to put provisions aside for people to be able to keep paychecks flowing in small businesses, which are usually the first things to fold. And a lot of you guys got paychecks because of that, right? Now, Then you've got people out here who are doing the most, and I'm not saying it's Jasmine, but it could be Jasmine, it could be many others, um, who are out here potentially, allegedly, um, making it harder for other people to be able to get funds, for people who may lose jobs, for people to now have to be on a job to collect monies that should have never been taken. And what does that do to people who pay taxes? It makes our taxes higher, okay? It makes the feds come for us just that much more. So when you're working and you have to give a couple of extra dollars, this is what those couple of extra dollars start paying for. All of these agencies that have to continually need to be built surrounding a fuck up. So the government tried to help small business and unfortunately gave out money like it was candy, and people took advantage of it. And now let the lawsuits and criminal investigations commence. And this is sad because if in fact this is someone we know on the YouTube streets, yeah, you're fucked. You are fucked. Now, am I fucked because there goes your content? Yeah, no, there's too many people on YouTube to talk about. And shit, I could just talk about myself. I've got a whole nother channel where I do that. So, y'all, this is bad news. And Jasmine, girl, you are welcome to come over here. I would love to talk to you and find out. I'd love for you to stand up for yourself, Miss Cheryl, if this is your daughter. If either of you, Duke's ladies or hips, know anything about what is going on here, because that is a coincidence to have someone with a name, with an address that is in the vicinity of your bestie, and conveniently the wrong street name. And if you got any kind of picture ID in the wrong name, that's going to be a problem. That's a problem. So I don't know. This is news to me. Let's see. Someone has typed a long comment, so let's read it. I used my entire PPP for its intended use. When my business had to shut its doors, I paid all 5 of my employees until we could open. I had to apply for the forgiveness with proof of what I used it on. Yes. So, JJ, in the process, can you tell me if when you applied for the loan and the loan came through the bank, did you have to go pick up a check? Was it automatically deposited to your financial institution? Did you have to provide any sort of documents outside of completing a application that you were who you said you were? Because I almost feel like the government was so busy processing loans that the analogy that they've said is, it's been like candy. And, do we know, like, how was your process in terms of actually securing the funds? It's deposited. Did you ever have to provide any ID? Is this, Kalia? JJ, Kalia, did you have a loan as well? Um, yeah, I'll put the link down. Open a stream, I will call in. Okay. Um, You had to have a bank account and a business name. Did they have to provide any identifications? Oh, okay, but you could probably speak to your friend's situation, um, or a known situation, right? Okay, this is what I'm gonna say, guys. Whoever decides to call in, if you are speaking from personal reference, be anonymous, okay? That's what I'm gonna say is the best thing to do, because we've got trolls on tripping trolls, okay? We've got idiots in the mist, okay? Make no mistake, we've got a bunch of numbskulls in the house. And I don't want any of you good people trolled by the numbskulls that are probably frequenting this chat at this moment. Um, so no offense to all the good people and the non numbskulls, non basics, but there are people in here who are looking and taking notes and all and such. And be discreet, please. I just because I like to protect my audience. Um, so keep that in mind. And if you call here on some fuck shit, I don't care. You can call me a bitch. You can call me stupid. You can say whatever you want. You will be hung up on. Okay. So just understand, if you are over the age of 12 and you are still doing crank calls, God help you. Okay. Like, come on. Let's be adults here. Okay. Um, so this person, okay. The person who has the acquaintance who is going through legal issue right now, not Jasmine, but this another person. The loan she applied for, she got approved for the first and the rest denied. They caught they caught the fraud. Damn, she applied for multiple loans? Shit. Okay. Yes, this indictment was in the newspaper. A lot of people who got 1099s applied for PPP loans, self-employed who did Uber, DoorDash, and gig jobs. Wrong, right, wrong, or indifferent. It was happening. Um, okay. Would you guys believe that Extra Jazz and Chris, are they actually live or is this a premiere? Oh, it's a premiere. They are. Jasmine, this is what I'm gonna say. You cannot be in the bushes and do a premiere of a lame ass smasher pass. You and Chris are the last people that need to be playing smasher pass. I'm gonna tell you why. Nobody wants to fuck y'all, individual or as a group, like as a couple. Nobody wants either one of you. Jasmine, you're looking pregnant, period. And nobody should be playing smash or pass in pregnancy mode. And if you are trying to get out whatever video you have available because you are trying to distract the good people of the YouTube streets away from your shit, it's not going to work. Because even if they come check out your dumb premiere, guess what? They're going to come back and watch this on replay. So, okay. Hold on, guys. We have a guest. Woohoo!
Hey.
Hey.
Sorry, I can't be on camera. I'm like, I told you I was like so sleepy about
Girl,
it. I
your
was in the
picture is
bushes.
cute, cute. Don't worry about it. It's cute, cute. Yes.
Oh, thank you. That was inauguration
Yes.
day. My Kamala look. I had my pearls on.
Yes, of course. Bougie gang all day. Bougie gang all day. All day, every day.
So,
Um, yes, talk to us. Tell us what you know or what you think. Anything regarding any of these YouTube street mommies. Let's just
oh
keep it
no,
all
I don't know. I
alleged. We
don't
don't
know
know
anything
anything.
about them. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about them. I was just gonna talk about because I do know somebody um that that got federal charges from fraudulently applying for PPP loans. And um, I read a whole indictment just because, like it's somebody that I knew and I was just curious. And it was in the newspaper. So then they had the entire federal indictment in the newspaper.
Do you know that when they got popped by the feds, did the feds come knocking or did they
Yeah,
just
they
like how
arrested
did
her.
it
They
they
arrested her.
did they go to her house?
I can't remember where they arrested her. It was on the news.
I
I
wonder if
can't
they do like a nice phone call and say meet us down at the local precinct or do they come through and just get
I
rude
mean,
with your
sometimes
ass?
for white collar crimes, like I had a friend that was on city council that sold her vote, supposedly, allegedly. She did ended up pleading guilty, but she got a federal charge and they arrested her at a Starbucks. So it just kind of
Not at the
depends on how they want to
Starbucks.
do things. Like that was one of the issues that was brought up because it was kind of like, you know, you could have asked her to turn herself in, but you chose to humiliate her at a Starbucks.
See, but people are not playing with this United States government money though. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to think of it in terms of
Right. So
I
with the
mean, I'm
PPP loans and
yeah.
as well as and also with the unemployment, like the PUA, that was the um The PUA was I forgot what that acronym stood for, but remember when everybody was getting the additional $600 a week
Mm-hmm.
from the government, from the feds,
Mm-hmm.
on top of whatever unemployment your state gave you. Well,
Right.
traditionally most states um don't uh, um don't give unemployment to people that are self-employed.
Right.
So
It's
a
the
lot.
Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, the PUA.
Exactly. Right. And I think now they're getting like 300 a month. I mean 300 a week additional.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What but when the pandemic first started last year until like I think July, they were getting like an extra 600 a week. And the issue was like that was more than what some people were making. So it wasn't any like real reason for them to want to even to attempt to go back to work. I mean, if you're bringing in $700-800 in unemployment a week, what I mean, you're only making $400-500 a week. Why would you want to go back to work? But anyway,
Yeah. I mean, I think the incentive was, I mean, look at it this way. Now we sound like we're on the floor of the Senate, but at the end of the day, there are a lot of people who were making below that, but there were a lot of people who were out of work that were making well above that. Okay.
right,
So there was no way to really equalize um, amongst the masses of people to say, well, you're going to get this and you're going to get that. I think what they decided to do was give something out that was it could have been a come up for some, and it could have been at least a couple of $1,000s for somebody else who's highly compensated. And someone could say, well, they should have a bank account. They should have this. They should have that. Well, those are all other conversations.
yeah,
JJ, I see you, and just wait for one moment. Let me let Anna, our guest, finish up,
yeah, and
and
you're
I'm going to
right.
bring you on.
You're
You,
right
you know what I
that
mean?
there were people that they were. I think at the time, the government, we were so like just trying to get through the pandemic and trying to figure things out that they were really rubber stamping a lot of unemployment claims as well as PPP loans.
Right.
And so now they're just going back and they're looking at those, and those that are fraudulent, like they're going after them. And then the case of the girl that I know, like she had like six LLCs. I think it was like six LLCs, either five or six LLCs. You see, some of the loans are in the six figures that she requested.
Look,
Um,
I mean, she needed look, I hate that for her. I don't know this woman, and you say she was humiliated at Starbucks, but at
no,
the
no,
end of
no,
the
no, that
day,
was someone else.
okay. At the end of the day, when you're messing with the people's money, I mean, they're not going to be nice. I mean, this is money that pays for lots of different things. There's people out here who lost homes. There's people out here who were hungry. There's people out here who ended up living on our streets in Charlotte, North Carolina, literally around the entire circumference of the city. Queen V, any of you guys who live in Charlotte, you know what I'm talking about. And you've seen this in many cities. We see what's going on in Los Angeles right now. There are people who literally have been pissing and shitting on like the streets of whatever, who were living in apartments and houses and are hungry and are showing up to soup kitchens, have to get on food lines. And there's people out here who are applying for loans, and it's messed up. If you need the money, get the money. If you really legit qualify for it, get it. If you're
Mhm.
just trying to fleece the American citizens, and you think it's fair for you to have something that you don't qualify for, that's fucked up.
Yeah,
Now,
and then
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
why I
Like,
sent you.
whether Jasmine got it or not, let's
Yeah,
just say allegedly, whether she got it or not, at the end of the day, if she qualified for it, I don't have a problem with that. If she qualified for it and that's her money and she can use it how she sees fit, but if you're trying to pull the wool over the American people and take money that is not for you and it's taking away from someone else, that is not what it is for. And that's wrong.
hmm,
So anyone can say whatever they want about how I feel. If it's illegal and it's illegal. Okay. And that's that on that. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
no,
So
right.
I don't
You're
feel
right.
bad.
Yeah, I don't even feel bad for the person that I know because, like, um, I mean, like, the government actually, and I sent them to you. They like
Mhm.
for the 19,000 that she did get, they went and because you had to have a banking account opened under that business's name in order to apply for the loan. And
Mhm.
that's where they deposited the money. So they could track it, right? They have every time she took any money out of the account of that 19,000, they have it documented, and it's like nowhere anywhere near
Mm.
paying for payroll. Like she was going to Walmart, she was getting her nails done, she went to Gatlinburg, she was renting cars, like
So instead
it
of
was.
doing like a fund transfer to another bank, like really probably making an honest effort to launder the money in a more in a better way, she was basically using it as a personal account, which is going to make her look like more of a complete fool. Like that
Yeah,
was
and then
like okay,
there
that
are
was
people, and
dumb.
like what you were saying though, I have another friend
My God.
who has a barbecue business that like she was actually nominated as like our state's small business person of the year in 2019. Actually got to go to DC to represent our state for small business person of the year. And she was doing everything she could. Like she was actually taking, like she had a brick and mortar, a carry out business that was basically closed. She had two
Oh,
food trucks that she had on the road. And
Anna,
when
I'm gonna
Mhm.
put JJ into the call. JJ, I'm gonna put you into the call.
Okay. I'm just give me 20 seconds. She was
Okay.
actually crying one day in her food truck on FaceTime or on Facebook Live
Mhm.
because she didn't get approved for the loan and didn't know how she was going to pay her employees because there were so many loans just getting approved from people like the person that I showed you taking advantage of it, and then big companies that were finding loopholes of being able to apply. Like
Well, they
it,
said that people are starting to send money back because they know that that their ass is on the line.
well, and they were
Um,
shamed. Like some big
well,
companies were
yeah.
shamed. Like the Lakers, they got a PPP loan, and people were like, "What?" And like they were finding loopholes to get the small, small what was meant for small businesses. And then when the media found out and people started like shaming them online, they started like giving the money back.
Right, because you've got the Lakers where the average salary, forget about the players, because
Right,
players are
not the
not
players.
necessarily employees. Let's also know that, right? Um, they're under contract. So not saying that they are contractors, but NBA players are not necessarily employees. They are at will and under contract to the team. Okay. They opt in. It's almost kind of like a co-op type situation in a way. But there's a whole different dynamic there. But when you are dealing with a entity where the average person, if you loop in the players, yeah, the average set player is probably the average salary of the Lakers organization. I would say probably it would be interesting to find out what it is like when you average in like the receptionist and the administrative assistants to the project managers to whomever, whatever liaisons and marketing and blah blah blah, along with the players, what the average salary is, and then you look at the company size and that they actually qualify for a small business loan. Um, Interesting, and knowing good and well that they did not need it. When you go out, when you are a small business and you go outside and you got Ferraris and Maseratis and Lambos parked in the parking lot, yeah, you don't need a small business loan. Okay. That's ridiculous.
Hmm.
That's
And,
ridiculous.
and that's
Um,
why I felt bad for my friend because she was in
mm,
her food truck actually like crying because she's like, I'm going to lose everything I've ever worked for.
that's
I can't
awful.
pay my employees.
Um,
So I
Let
just like,
JJ come up for just a second. JJ actually had a loan. And oh, Anna, you didn't have to sign off. JJ, tell us what happened. So you applied for a small business loan. Can you walk us through like the
sure.
process and how you got qualified? Did you have to show ID? Did you have to like mail them you know what I mean? Like not mail, but
Yeah,
email your
right.
ID? Like, was there
I did.
any due diligence, fact checking, anything? Okay, let us
Absolutely.
know. I'm gonna let you have the floor.
Can you hear me good?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Yes, absolutely. I had to send in everything as far as 1099 for the last 3 months of 2009 because they wanted to see my payroll and they went based on that. So actually, it wasn't even enough to pay my employees. So I took money out of my savings account to pay the remainder, but I used mine entirely. I didn't want anything to happen with my employees. I wanted their job safe because I wanted them to come back and work for me. So mine was approved for forgiveness. You actually have to apply for forgiveness to not have to pay it back. And I have several friends that are business owners, and the difference was that I went through my bank. So my bank did their due diligence. I had to give them my tax return for 2019. Actually, no, 2018, because 19 wasn't done yet. I had to give them tax return, driver's license, proof of the 1099. I got all this paperwork through my accountant and I sent it in. I was approved. It was very streamlined, very easy, but I had all my documentation. But then I had one of my friends that went through like one of these fly-by-night companies. She did not have to provide any proof, just a driver's license, and she was approved. However, she did not use the money for what it was intended for. All of her employees were laid off, and now she has to pay every dime back.
And they're not filing charges on her.
No, they're not, but she did have a legitimate business. So it's not like she was sitting in her house and was like, oh, let me pretend, I opened up this clothing store. So,
Okay, but misappropriation of funds, things like that, they're probably not going that deep with it at this moment. Because I mean, if you
Because
apply for the money and then you don't use it for its intended purpose,
yep.
I'm
in that
wondering,
case,
like, isn't that still a fraud? You know what I'm saying? You may have gotten
Oh,
it in
yeah.
good faith, but
Yeah.
then you didn't use it. So that could be, it's not necessarily an embezzlement, but it is a sort of fraud because you didn't use the money for its intended purpose.
Right.
Fran, can I
And
ask JJ something?
sure.
Um, but if you don't use the money for its intended purposes, right? Like to pay like say if you still used it for your business,
Right.
but not to pay, like your friend, she laid off her employees, right? So in
Right.
that
She
case,
actually used it to build a house.
oh,
So,
okay. Well, let's say
yeah,
she
it's
used it
crazy.
for her business, right? In that case, I mean, they wouldn't charge her, but they would just it's not a forgivable loan, right? In
Right.
order for
Right.
it to have been forgivable, you had to meet certain qualifications. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes. You have to use 75% of it for your employees, your payroll, and then 25% could be used on rent if you are renting a space, which I was, but I used it entirely on payroll. I had to. I had hired two people, and I have a professional business, and I had hired two people in the beginning of 2020, and that payroll did not count. It was only 2019, the end of
Oh man.
2019. Yeah. So, I mean, I went into my savings. We made it work. I have all my employees, and that was what's most important to me. But I have seen other people use it for its not intended use. And those people went through fly by night companies, like these, like companies I've never heard of, they've never heard of, but they were pushing through the SBA. And so the
Yeah, because
small business.
I was noticing that I mean, because of the way that the wording in the PPP was like how it was legislated, that I saw people that did like Uber and DoorDash because they got 1099s, they were self-employed, and
Yep.
they may have had like an LLC set up or whatever. They were
Mm-hmm.
applying for those loans.
There were YouTubers that got approved.
Yeah,
YouTubers that
yeah.
could, everybody sat home and watched YouTube. So I mean, I think wasn't the advertising down or something for a little while in the beginning of COVID? Or maybe
Not
not.
really. No.
No.
YouTube honestly was honestly, you Google has their advertising has been up, viewership is up, watch hours are up. Everything is up. Now people might not feel it on an individual basis because people seem to think that we're all kind of sharing from this one pool, but there's
Right.
new people that kind of come into each bottomless pit every day. You know what I mean? Like every
Yeah.
sector has kind of just a bottomless pit of content. And but
Hmm.
some, people seem to think that we're like all splitting like the same small audiences, but the audience is potentially the world because Google is the largest search engine and YouTube is the second largest search engine. So people are going to end up on a YouTube video because people also don't like to read, so they'd rather watch a video. So that all of that being said, no, it's actually been on the increase. But I
Oh,
think that people who may have other businesses along with their YouTube business, so their business could be comprised of 4 and 5 businesses, so they're multi-stream of income. Maybe
yeah.
those were affected. Um,
I do
so
remember, and I might, forgive me if I don't have this 100% accurate, but I seem to remember Chrissy doing a video saying that she was going to apply for unemployment. And she was like, "Well, if I just get
What?
denied, I get denied." Does anybody else remember that?
I feel like I recall something of that, but I don't know that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to make a correlation between
It wasn't
something
PPP
of that.
related, no, but it was
No, what
related
I
to
no,
the pandemic
my
because
thought is that, look, my thought is this. If we, so what I meant by that is um her stating that she would apply for unemployment, you get denied, you get a 1099, so you are a business owner and therefore you've got cause, you've created a paper trail as to why you could apply for something else. So we don't know that happened.
no,
I just didn't want the speculation because Anna, quite frankly, we're on the YouTube streets. So even if you don't say it, people are going to think it. So we're not saying that to anyone in the bushes. That was just so. What was tell me what your reasoning was behind thinking about that? Because she could apply for unemployment because she is a kind of would have been deemed a gig employee or
right,
a gig worker because she is a 1099
right,
YouTuber.
because this was the first time ever, as far as I know, because most states didn't even have it set up so that you could be a self-employed person and apply for unemployment. They had to actually like create the databases and infrastructure to even accept those claims.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's true.
So this was the first time that a self-employed person could apply for
Hmm.
unemployment. And I just that's what made me just think about it. It has nothing to do with the PPP loans. It's just
Right, no, I
I was
get it.
thinking
I
I
get
just
it.
recall her talking about unemployment and being able to apply for it. I don't know if she did or not. She never did a video on it, but I remember her talking about being able to do it and possibly doing it and just, what happens, whatever happens, happens. That's what
Mhm.
I recall. And like I
Right.
said, my memory's not 100%,
No,
but
I
I
feel
do
like
remember
I
that.
remember hearing that at some point, but now uh
And Fran, I can tell you that you had to click a button on the application saying that you are using it for its intended purposes, and you have to put your signature.
mhm,
So if they are, going after people, I could definitely see why, because you
okay.
had to, you're signing. So, I think that the problem came not from the big banks. The big banks did their due diligence. I had to give my bank a ton of stuff that my friend is like, no, I didn't have to give them. I gave them my driver's license and we went from there. And I'm like, what?
Well,
But I wanted,
people were feeling like that some of the larger institutions were slow dragging the loans, and
mhm.
because there was such a great need and people were literally hungry, showing up at food banks, not enough food. Also the fact that we were in a pandemic and people didn't really need to be piled up at the food bank waiting on food. It was a state of emergency. It really was.
Yeah.
And
And
honestly, I'm not going to feel bad for anybody who's prosecuted on this. Like, I'm not going to say I don't care, because there's always fallout, the families and things like that. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry. I give zero fucks on this, because if people are taking from people at one of our worst times, where the government just says, you know what, screw the rules, let's get the people the money. It's their money anyway, because we're all on the hook for it, or it's all getting taken out of our paychecks, those of us who work. And at the end of the day, it's like, you got people betraying the trust. It's wrong. So
yeah,
I
And
don't
and
we're
you have
all going to be
I don't
paying for
really
this
care.
pandemic
You
for a
know,
very,
I'm just gonna
very,
be
very long
honest. It
time.
doesn't bother me, because I'm not worried about it.
yeah, and
If
there
in
were
fact,
companies
yeah,
there were legit companies that were not banks. Like you could apply through American Express, you can apply through Visa. There were
but,
plenty of other like
but see,
legitimate
those are
companies.
banks. Those are considered banks. They're not traditional banks, but they are financial institutions. So yeah, they opened it up to financial institutions across the board, outside of like a banking entity. But yeah, they are considered banks. American Express,
But wouldn't
Well,
they
because
all
because
they
be
loan
banks
money.
then?
Pardon?
I know they had to have a relationship with the SBA. If they
Hmm.
didn't have a, because the SBA is the one that issued the loans.
Right.
So in order for the institution, for you to be able to apply to the institution, and there were plenty that had no relationship with the SBA, so they could not process. I have a
Mm.
friend too, I know a lot of business owners in my area, and one of them had to close up shop. No employees got paid because the money ran out. And then the second time they had their
Mhm.
application in, and it ran out again.
Wow.
Yeah, they had. I mean, think about it. What were some of the big ones that of Ruth Chris? I mean, they applied. They had to give it back, but
Mm.
they applied. And they got millions. So that's just sad.
Yeah, see
I
what
mean, did they pay
Debbie said?
people?
Carly
I don't.
said
I
from
don't
Love and Hip
know, but
Hop.
I don't know, but I know that they had to pay it back because they got so much crap for it. It was on the news and everything, and they're a big, big company with a lot of money that could afford to pay employees. And they didn't. They had to give every dime back. They were embarrassed by it.
Well, I don't. So, I was having this conversation with someone much earlier today regarding this database that's out here. I mean, it's completely just like it's Front Street, basically. I don't have a problem with it, because it's not. Look, this is a bailout. And just like the banks, when they got bailouts, when they screwed up the mortgage industry, and everybody got a chance to know like what banks got the bailout and the banks had to pay the money
Mhm.
back. This is a small business bailout, and
Hmm.
people have a right to know.
Yeah,
And
our
if you're out here
newspaper.
getting a small business bailout, you're getting a small business bailout. There's nothing wrong with it if you're doing the right things with it. If it's keeping your cousin's house, the lights on and food in the refrigerator so the kids can eat, there's nothing wrong with that. That mom or dad can get a paycheck because the company didn't close. That's a good thing. But if people are out here buying cars and getting nails done and liquor, or more food to barbecue, when some people have nothing and they don't even qualify for food stamps, that's just not right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you have to be on Front Street because you decided to accept a bailout, well then you just are on Front Street because you decided to accept, because there's people out here who didn't take it. They didn't take it,
Yeah.
they didn't apply for it. So
Yeah.
they're not on Front Street because maybe they applied for a traditional loan because they didn't want their business out there, or they didn't want people digging into their finances.
Well, and just so you know, friend, that website, it was put in our local newspaper. And it is so that the public, because the public, it is our money. So we have a right to know who got the loans. Because me as a taxpayer, right, when I'm looking to see like what company I'm going to patronize, there's going to be companies that I'm not going to patronize because I know they took a PPP loan and they should not have. They,
Right.
companies like the
Hmm.
Lakers, I know that there were several companies that were dragged on Twitter and other social media outlets for taking PPP loans because their lawyers were able to find loopholes and financial accountants
Yes.
or whatever. And
Hmm.
they were shamed into giving the money back. Like, I'm not going to patronize people like that.
Right.
Yes,
And all
attorneys were
and
hired.
mhm.
People did hire attorneys to push their PPPs through. I know that for sure because I
Yeah.
talked to an attorney and I thought maybe it would be easier, but it turns out my accountant, helped me with everything and I didn't even have to, they're my accountant. I pay them all the time. So I didn't have to give them anything extra. But attorneys, yes. And they wanted a pretty penny to do it.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm not patronizing them. Not when I see my friend who has a legitimate small business that, like I said, she was named Small Business Person of the Year for our state. And then her crying in her food truck because she's on the verge of losing everything.
That's
It's not
awful.
fair.
Yeah,
No, it's
that's
not.
awful.
I wondered, since we were talking about the alleged possible PPP with Jasmine and Chrissy, do you think it could have been in her mom's name? Could have applied? Because doesn't
Uh, I don't
couldn't
know.
because
I mean,
isn't her YouTube possibly alleged under her mom?
That's what they say. I'm sure uh people have already searched this.
I'm
Oh
just going
yeah,
to say
probably,
that
probably.
Jasmine is a very common name, and
Hmm.
Dukes is not an uncommon name. So,
There's
and then,
several Jasmine Dukes. When you look up
right,
Jasmine Dukes, there's several.
right. And then the other thing is, like, I think I heard that the loan was out of Houston. Like, what would be like, there's no advantage of her doing that. Like,
Well, so this is the deal. So I when you had DM'd me, there was another DM that stated that the address that is on ProPublica or whatever address they got it from, because I don't think ProPublica has the addresses. So just to be fair, whatever's floating around on the YouTube streets right now, I don't have that, but I'm not sure what site they got that from. There is an address that is in the vicinity of the former capital F former residence of where, because I don't want anyone thinking I have no clue where Strong Mommy Christie could live on the moon right now for all I know, and I do not care.
Right.
I'm saying the former address of her former address, this address is in that vicinity. So it's kind of a like, okay, that's an interesting um
That's a heck of a coincidence.
coincidence, right? And there's that theory that there are no coincidences.
I can't
So you
remember
have
exactly, but
but we don't know. We don't know. So Jasmine, if you're listening, I know you put up a premiere, girl. The people want to know, did you get a PPP loan? And if so, um, where's this clothing store so we could order and see what you've got for us? Because we see how you dress out here. We do not see you in any kind of fashions. We
and
have never heard you plug a website other than ones that you're promoting. We don't know anything about a store. So if you have a store, hit us up to it so we can help support as everyone else already does your endeavors. But right now, we don't know. We don't know if this is the Jasmine who is on these YouTube streets
yeah,
or another Jasmine. I mean, quite
yeah,
frankly,
friend.
that's
That,
what
that was the other
I don't
kind of
know.
like that was the other thing. I was kind of like, this don't really make a whole lot of sense. I mean, not that I'm trying to defend Jasmine, but like, I mean, like, if in order, you know how I am. Like, if it's got to make sense in order for me to even be like considerate, like.
Mhm.
And what did make sense to me is kind of like when I saw the clothing store, I'm like, okay, if she were going to apply for a loan, like there are some other lines of business or type of work that she could have legitimately claimed that would have been legitimate. Social media influencer, you know, where or she, you know, she did it sponsorships, um, content creator, like to just pull clothing retailer out of. I mean, that just didn't make sense to me.
Well,
And
and what
that
I wonder is, have we ever seen Jasmine seem like she came into money until the stimulus? You know, like last year, did she seem to go on like some big shopping spree? Because that's what she seems to do when she gets money. I don't recall that.
She seems
So,
like the type of person to me that puts money in her mattress. Like, I don't see
you
her
think?
going to anybody's bank. I don't see her
Yeah,
she's itself she said she's cheap. She's admittedly cheap. So what she would do with all of this money, I don't know. She hasn't purchased a home. She doesn't drive a vehicle, a noteworthy vehicle. Her vehicle is well over 10 years old. She doesn't dress. She doesn't wear expensive pocketbooks. You know what I'm saying? Like she's
yeah,
complaining because people wanted her to have cake and ice cream for the twins. Um, she thinks that we want her to live lavish, which we know that's not going to happen, Jasmine. Nobody wants you to live lavish.
no,
We don't even think that's possible. She's just, yeah, I don't see any of that happening.
right.
So
yeah, I'm
I
just
don't
gonna
I
like
don't know.
from my perspective, and I'm gonna have to have somebody else that has maybe knows more about the loans can come on. But from my perspective, I just felt like what I saw and what was put out there, there it there was more that led me to believe that it wasn't her than it was that led me to believe that it was her. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Well,
So, I mean, I don't know, but
hopefully she answers.
I
She'll probably deny it anyway, but
mean, I just didn't feel like I said the address in itself. I don't see how that like applying in another city would have benefited her in any way. The
I
clothing
think that would
line
have just
thing.
added to the fraud. I mean,
yeah,
that's incorrect information. You don't live in that was just a dumb move. I mean,
I mean, but
if in
then
fact
why
it's
even use
her,
if you're gonna do fraud? Why even use your real first and last name?
well, you have to submit your
um
driver's license for sure.
Right,
Even through the fly by nights, you have to submit it. And it has
mhm.
to have the address that you're living at. So I don't, it seems iffy because,
right. It just didn't make like to me. I just was like, this doesn't like her name's too common, and there's more that led me to believe this is probably not her. Then led me to believe that it probably is. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah,
I don't know if it is her or not. I hope it isn't. Um, but that's what I'm gonna say.
yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, it's certainly possible, but you know, I've gone through the process and it was I mean, I wouldn't say hard, but I did have to submit quite a bit.
Right, if someone were not you, they would have to fabricate
Yes. Yep.
documents. Okay.
That's what I said.
So yeah, all great stuff, ladies. I mean, at the end of the
Yes.
day, we don't know if this is Jasmine or not. It's some tea.
You're
It's
right.
some tea, and it's interesting. It's not out of the realm of possibility because we know that other YouTubers have have partaken in the PPP,
Oh
and
yeah.
rightfully so. It's not. I mean, people can judge in the court of public opinion, but if they qualified for it and the government doesn't have a problem with it, and they are paying it back or getting forgiveness, fine.
Yeah.
But if people are openly and outwardly committing fraud, um, understand that people are going to call you out on it, including any of our beloved three mommies. I think they already know this. So if they didn't know, they know it now. And it is
They
what it
don't
is.
they don't get
You
away with
know,
anything on these streets.
no,
Yeah,
ma'am.
like
No,
even if she
ma'am.
would have been getting food stamps, like I know that was during the time that she said her food stamps got taken away. But like if she were getting food stamps at that time, and I think it's even still going on, I'm not sure though, but like you got the maximum for your household,
Yeah.
like the
A
maximum.
thousand, I think it was $1,000
What for
per
a
month.
household of five?
Yes, I believe
So
it was
like
like that. Like the
if she were getting food,
maximum.
yeah, if she would have been getting food stamps, which I don't know if she did or not, because I don't know if she's telling the truth about it being taken away. But if she was getting them, she would have been getting the maximum. Period, because that was the rule for the pandemic across the board.
Yep. And I heard that I live in Florida and I can only speak for my state, but I heard regardless of your family size, the maximum you could get is 1,000. So I don't know for Texas.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be more, it could be less. I don't know. But I do know for Florida that was I have a family member that's what she got. And she has 3 kids. So I don't know, maybe. And she told me that's the maximum that you can get in the state. And that's not what she was getting before. It was a big increase,
Mm.
which was fair. Her husband is a bartender and did make a lot of money, but he was completely laid off. So
Yeah, you got to think, Fran, that a lot of these businesses, like restaurants and that, they were closed.
yeah.
Like they were
Yeah.
shut down.
Yeah, the world was closed. Like
Yep.
and people didn't need to be out. I mean, people needed money to get food. I mean, we were down to the basics. I mean, this time last year, it was really scary for a lot of people. For
It
people
was.
who had a little bit of savings or whatever was going on with you financially, if you had the money, you had the money. But if you did not have money, for a lot of people, it was literally down to like the last few slices of bread. It was down to the last few dollars. I mean, it was gut wrenching. I literally stopped watching the news last year and I have not really started back because it broke my heart. Because I felt really bad for a lot of people that were really suffering. People didn't have food. And
Yeah.
that's just, I mean, in the United States, you don't really think of that happening, but people were too they had on paper too much for a benefit and they had nothing in their purses or their wallets or anything. And
Well,
if people took advantage of that time where the government just said, Willie, you know what I mean, like we're just going to open it up and give the people the money that they need, that was just dead wrong. And that's why, and because of a lot of the fraud that they knew was happening or is happening, but they couldn't really stop it, that's why it took forever for the second and third round of stimuluses to come through, because the people were the state representatives and senators were just like, this is getting ridiculous because we know what's going on. They knew what was going on. And then
well,
they didn't want to be accused of shutting down small businesses. I mean, it was a nightmare.
we cannot find employees right now because that's still going on. I mean, we have
Yeah.
restaurants here that are opening late and closing early because they have no staff.
Yeah, I
Because
was just
the staff
yeah,
is sitting home getting all this additional money and they're
yeah,
making
because they're
more
getting
money.
they're getting three now. They're only getting 300 extra. But say for instance, if your state would have given you 300 for unemployment a week, right? The federal government is adding an additional 300. So that means you're getting $600 a week just to sit at home. Okay,
Hmm.
Well,
so
and for some people though, I'm just going to be honest, guys, and this. This pandemic has done a lot to some people. And
mhm.
there are some people who are home that need to be at home. Maybe they're not getting treatment, but there's some people out here who are fucking bananas, okay? They need
Oh,
to be at
yeah.
home. They need a little mental break. They need to like chill out a little bit before they venture back out into the world. We don't need all of that at the restaurant because there's also people out here that have been who are ready to get out and they are not checking those attitudes at the door before they leave home. And we are seeing homicides, we are
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
people wanting to fight out in these streets, like the real streets. So there
Domestic
are some people,
violence.
honestly, that are home. If you are qualified and you are home and you need to be at home, stay at home.
Yeah, no, no,
Don't
no. You
rush back
shouldn't
out
be at
here
work if you
to
need to
have a
be at
mental
home.
break and what we used to call go postal. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
No.
we don't
no,
need
no.
all that. So when
No,
people
there.
say
But I
there
was
are
just saying
people,
that from what JJ was saying,
right.
as
Well,
far
no, and
as
I'm not
it,
slicing and dissecting your comment as judgment, but what I'm
yeah,
saying is that the judgment is that there are people who are just kind of loafing And there really are some
Mm-mm.
people who
No.
may want to take it. Number one is an opportunity to level up. Number two, they need to be where they're at because the world is still not back to where it was. We see what happens here on these YouTube streets. There is a very aggressive um overtone out here, and I'm sure if it's on the internet, it's outside as well. So I think that and also while it's not 100% safe, I think that some people are well within they're doing the right thing by staying home and still staying out of the way because we don't need you out here. If you're out here living a certain type of way and you're out partying on the weekends, yeah, I don't want you showing up at my job.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? And
The
not to be
other
mean
thing
or
though
anything,
was
but
most states, I know our state, and I think it was true for most states, like typically if you get unemployment, you have a requirement that you have to look for a certain number of jobs every week in order to maintain your unemployment. Through the pandemic, that requirement went away. So like now that you don't have to show that you apply to 3 jobs every week to continue to get unemployment. So that went away. And there are companies like the casino here, they're offering, because they have a lack of employees, up to $4,000 sign-on bonus just to get employees.
did you hear though that there was a mass shooting at a casino?
No.
Yeah. There was I mean, it came across the internet. I was it in Utah? It was someplace like I was like, "Really? Wow." Like people are girl, there's some healing that needs to happen out here on these streets before we all get back together like we were. People are freaking about to lose it still.
Mhm.
So these sign-on bonuses, yeah, they're good and everything. And I'm certainly an advocate for sign-on bonuses when you want to encourage people to come and have them do a certain amount of time and then they'll get their bonus paid out or whatever. They'll pay them quarterly. But I think that the world, like the United States, a lot of us have gone through a tremendous amount of trauma. The people of New York City, there are many cities that got it really bad. Somebody was, I think, was that you, JJ? Are you in LA? There's someone out here who is in LA. I have two sisters that live in LA, and I have heard that downtown LA is absolutely something out of like a Mad Max movie. It's like the apocalypse happened
Is it
in
like
downtown
like
Los
Skid
Angeles.
Row?
Skid Row is like Skid Row times 10 now. Like Skid Row, literally people are pissing and shitting on the sidewalks. People are like have makeshift kitchens. Like it's not just like, oh, people are laying on the streets. It's like a tent city up and down the streets of downtown Los Angeles. And we had the same thing in Charlotte until recently. There was a wonderful rat infestation that the city had to come through with all kinds of police officers and everything and clear it out because there was a freaking rat infestation in the beautiful downtown Charlotte, North Carolina, where we would never even have such a thing. But the rats came out to play and they had to get all of the homeless people off the street. Literally, like the green spaces where you get off the highway, there were just tents and tarps and I mean, there were like we don't have a homeless population living out on the green spaces as you're exiting and entering the highways. It was unbelievable. I'd never seen
If
anything like
you
it.
if anybody wants to see what LA looks like right now, I follow on YouTube. He's a really sweet man. He sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. His name is German in Venice, and he goes. That is basically what he does. Is he shows what has happened to LA, Venice Beach, all over the place, and it is. I mean, it just looks like California has turned into Skid Row. It's awful.
Yeah.
Tents
She said
everywhere.
it's so
It's a
hot in
very
Arizona's
interesting
sky.
YouTube channel. But
And
I
what's it
mean,
called again?
German in Venice.
German and Venice. Okay.
Yeah, the guy's
Yeah,
name
and
is
those
Mike.
homeless populations too were like breeding grounds. They were basically super spreaders. Like
Hmm.
I know
Yes.
here we were like doing everything we could to get them off the streets and into some type
Hmm.
of housing so that we could keep down them getting COVID because I
Yeah.
mean it was just going to be a breeding ground for COVID.
Yeah.
California
It's
did that, but it almost seems like they did it too late because they put them in hotels, but by then it had already spread so much through the homeless population. And that's just so sad. But to elaborate, which could be an entirely different conversation, and what Fran was saying, at what point do we need to start to get back to normal? Because we can't let our entire economy collapse because nobody wants to work. I mean, we don't want anybody that has mental health issues that hasn't
and I
been
don't think
treated.
it's that nobody wants to work. I think that companies need to get with the time. Number one, people need to accept that every job is not a work from home. And I'm coming, this is
Right.
from an HR perspective, okay? Every
Yep.
job is not going to be a work from home. There's going to be some jobs that you have to do in the office, right? Period.
Yep.
Now, companies also need to get with the times that there are jobs that you can release people to work from home. I think that a lot of people have been through a lot of trauma. There are people who have had entire families wiped out.
Oh
There are
yeah.
people who are minus a mom, they're minus a dad, they're minus children. You got kids that are minus a teacher. Their fourth grade, fifth grade, second grade, kindergarten teacher died. Okay,
Yeah.
this is some sad stuff, guys. Um, We've got people who are taking vaccines that they're afraid. You know what I mean? Like, this is
Right.
some scary stuff. We have all been traumatized. And I think the sooner that people can admit it and talk about it with a friend, a neighbor, tell your corona story and let someone talk to you and tell you their corona story, what the losses were, what it felt like to be alone, what it felt like to have to maybe miss an event, maybe not get to see mama pass away, not get to hold her hand, have to talk to people through glass windows, all of those
Oh,
things. This is really sad
I
stuff, guys.
I had to get
And I
my
don't think
daughter.
we're gonna heal
I,
from it
I had to get my
today.
daughter therapy because she was graduating high school. And of course, she didn't get to graduate high school, but I mean, not formally with a regular graduation, but she is a type 1 diabetic. So she is a very social girl and wasn't able to be. It wasn't just I can get online. I mean, she was literally just in her pajamas every day in her room because she could go nowhere. We just couldn't trust it. And I noticed the signs of her not being well. So we got her therapy, which she was able to do through Zoom. So, I know what it's like to
Yeah,
see, we couldn't go out either because we couldn't take the chance, of spreading it to her. So,
yeah.
I get it. I know that there's some severe trauma out there.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, people are keeping their kids home, which I respect that. But honestly, I was talking to the school nurse last week, and I was talking to the school nurse because I was at the school because my daughter is doing hybrid, and I'm telling that because I'm telling it as a mom, and I'm saying I'm going to encourage someone right now. Don't be afraid. If you decide, school year's almost over, but if there's an opportunity for your kid to reconnect with their classmates, connect with their
Yep.
teacher, have an opportunity, even if it's just a couple of days,
Hmm.
for hybrid before school closes, to let them at least connect with their people, their peers,
Yep.
let them, because honestly, I just had to pray about it and know that my daughter was going to be okay. Because I know that there's a lot of shaming out here. I felt like there was kind of like a subtext of shame of opening up your door and letting your kid out like you don't care. But I know that there's municipalities out here that never really closed for their kids. They wanted kids to come in, period. Um,
Hmm.
we had to just be courageous and just say, you know what, we are doing the best that we can. And because I think the seclusion and isolation it's been a lot. I mean, there were times
Yes.
that I felt like I wasn't out the house in like a month. If it wasn't like on a Sam's run or something like that. We just didn't go anywhere. I mean, sometimes it would just be like, my God, I haven't been out the house. And then my husband has been an essential worker the whole entire time because he's an electrician. And then we had the awful occurrence of an identity theft, and my husband having to go downtown Charlotte to a hotbed of corona
Oh
at the
God.
time. It was absolutely a freaking nightmare. Nightmare. Nightmare.
Yeah. The
And
mental
then every
health
time you
has to
get
be.
sick, you think you gotta get a corona test, you know? So, but I'm not gonna even say it's been the worst for me because I know it hasn't. There's plenty of people out here who've had it far worse, but I think that
Yeah.
in light of when people say, well, there's people who don't wanna go back to work, and I respect what you're saying from your observation, but people
Mhm.
are just mentally I think people wanna go to work, but I think there's a lot of people who mentally cannot wrap their heads around sharing space with people who are usually very miserable, people who we would not know if we were not doing the exact same job and coming to work for the exact same company, and I gotta sit next to you. I've worked with some of the most horrendous people ever, period, in life, and I don't if you're listening right now, yes, probably you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like some of these people I would never have known had we not worked in the same department. And to ask people to return to that when they may have lost a husband, a daughter, a
Oh
son,
yeah.
their mother, they've lost finances, they've had cars repossessed, they're just not in a good they're not whole for
Yeah.
whatever reason.
I can understand that.
I
Definitely
think we
can
need to give
understand that.
people a break. If there is some grace that it can be extended by the United States government for all of the atrocities, but let's just start with this one of the last year, then I mean, we just got to let people come back in their own due time. There's people, do you imagine these healthcare workers, what they have been through, and none of
Oh
them, and
no.
a lot of them have not had a break?
No, God bless them and the doctors, that went ahead and took care of all of these patients, knowing that they were in danger. And I just want to say before I get off here, because I do need to go, but this is going to be some sort of case study because we don't know, how we're going to come out of this. The last pandemic was in 1918, and there's not really much written about it because mental health wasn't really recognized then. So, this is going to be fairly interesting, to even see in 10 years what the pandemic has done.
Yeah. It's
So,
awful, and, I would just say as it relates to our 3 moms, just to kinda loop it back to the 3 moms, at the end of
mhm.
the day, what people need to understand is on these YouTube streets, if people catch some tea on you, they're gonna talk about it,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
that's really just it. So, um if in fact this Jasmine is my jazzy life, Jasmine, you got some splaining to do. People are going to want to know, and trust and believe the videos are already being made and conversations are already taking place. And what's going to happen is your benefactors, your subscribers who really put that cash in your pocket are going to ask you, just like it took them a minute to start to really ask you to account on my shabby life. They're going to ask you the questions, and I guess she's gonna need to let us know, is this you or is this not you? Is this just a complete and total coincidence?
Yeah.
Which
Hey.
I we don't know.
All
We don't know.
right. Well, it was
All
really
right, thank you so
nice
much,
talking to
JJ,
you, ladies.
for giving us these insights, and Anna, thank you for
Yeah.
coming up on the panel. You guys are awesome.
It was
Guys,
lovely talking to you.
yes, it was awesome talking to you too. Thank you for coming up. You guys are you're just, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Uh,
You guys have a good
yeah,
day.
thank you. Take care. Guys, this took a real left turn. Who knew we were going to talk about this? Um Again, like I said, I'm not convicting and trying anyone, but what I'm going to say is this. Once again, Jasmine, Mom Dukes, if you haven't heard about it yet, Jasmine, you have been called to account, and that's it. You slide the bar back because people have a PPP loan out on you, and it just seems like there's overwhelming information that makes people think that it was potentially you. So if it is you, ma'am, People are going to want to know where this clothing store is, where your fresh gear is at, and why you are not doing clothing hauls for yourself, because we have not seen anything on YouTube nor Instagram reflecting said clothing business on these YouTube streets. So it was put out there, and that's it, guys. Interesting conversation. I really wanted to talk about Jocelyn Hernandez and Wendy, and I know that's old news from last week. Um, but I do have some thoughts on it. I never talked about it. And I did watch her videos uh, regarding the little camp session that they went, the little vacation that they all went on. But I guess we'll talk about that at another time. So, because we're right at a hour and 40 minutes. So I'm going to go. Trey, Bay, I crack you up. Um, that's what I'm here to do. Definitely. Guys, I think we had a really good conversation. This is one of the best conversations we've had on the YouTube streets. We notably dropped about 50 people because some people are just with the shits and they just want to hear the tea, and that's okay. But when you start talking about feelings and trauma and maybe understanding where some of this pain and anger comes from, um yeah, they checked out because it's a trigger, and some people don't want to change. They're just ready to stay in their shit, and they went ahead and clicked out. So bye. um but those of us who do want to kind of move on and be great and let this go and have the cries and really get to enjoy the future giggles and beauty that is all of life that is waiting for all of us to have, um girl, we're going to move on. We're going to move on, and we're going to and everything is going to be good all over again. But one thing I'm going to ask, in the name of just decency, is if we know people out here who are suffering, just give them a little bit of grace and space, that if they did not make the right decision, give them an opportunity to do so, um, with a little bit of dignity, even though there's not a whole lot of dignity in it. Give them some space and opportunity to come forward and handle their business and make shit right. But yeah, we're not here for the fuck shit with our money. Okay, with that good tax money that we all have to pay into. Yeah, don't play around, because if it gets found out on these YouTube streets, you already know somebody is coming to present your receipts, and it will be talked about, and it will be talked about for a while. So hopefully that is not the case. Um, but if it is, you better handle it. You better handle it. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and go because I got my own business to handle right now. And we've been on for a while, but I'm gonna come back, probably not today. Because I just got my Just Fresh order, guys. So I am gonna have a code for you all. Um, but I did order Just Fresh because I just wanted to try something different. You know, Rona is like, I'm cooking my ass off over here, and I wanted to try some different things. So I will be cooking up some HelloFresh, and you will see that content over on my other channel. So if that's stuff that you guys are interested in, HelloFresh and how it comes and what it tastes like, is it good, all of that, you're going to find all of that where my other content lives, and that is on Francois Vlogs, and you can subscribe to that channel. I would love for you to. Okay. Um, yes. Let me tell you something, Jay Johnson. If Chris and Jasmine have some sort of tie-in to that loan, and he's over here calling people peasants, he Jazz and Chris, y'all better watch out, because I know people aren't gonna really. My God. Sorry, guys. That was my bad. But anyway, guys, I'm here. I'm here. Let me type a note in. Gosh, guys, I get loose with that button, and then next thing you know, everything goes off. Anyway, yeah, I'm here though. So, guys, yes, have a great evening, and maybe I'll see you guys tomorrow, but if not, Wednesday. And I will be coming, of course, with a video. So, at worst case scenario, I will have a new video up tomorrow. Hit me up in my inbox. Let me know what you want to talk about. Um, if there are any topics, if there's any hot stories that you think that I need to be covering, I'd love to hear about it. Um, otherwise, next up, we're going to talk about some of these hot topics from over the past week. So anyway, guys, have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.
I will always bring this up for the rest of his motherfucking
Don't
life.
get me wrong, I'm still a petty bitch, and I'll still talk my shit. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a petty bitch, and I'll still
I'm that bitch.
talk my shit.
I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch.
Whatever.
I'm that bitch.
There's different
I'm that
technicalities to the shit. But
I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that
I'm
bitch.
just saying, whatever negativity. Hold on. Hello.
How far? Can I call me like 5 hours away?
Alright.
I will always bring this up for the rest of his motherfucking life. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch.
Don't get me
I'm
wrong,
that
I'm still a
I'm
petty
that
bitch, and I'll
I'm that
still
bitch.
talk
I'm
my
that
shit.
bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm just playing. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch.
Don't get me
I'm
wrong,
that
I'm still a
I'm that
petty bitch, and I'll
I'm that
still
bitch.
talk
I'm
my
that
shit.
I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm just playing. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm
Don't
that
get me
bitch.
wrong, I'm
I'm
still a
that
petty
bitch.
bitch, and I'll
I'm
still
that bitch.
talk my
I'm that
shit.
bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm just playing. I will always bring this up for the rest of his motherfucking life. I will always bring this up for the rest of his motherfucking life. I will always bring this up for the rest of his motherfucking life. Ooh, why Fashion Nova keep hitting me up though? Cause I'm that bitch. 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 I'm just playing.